Welcome, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radio. This is Album Review Saturdays. This is episode 6. If you don't know already, hey, we're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, and there are articles, and I write them there. And I'm not wasting my time, apparently. People go there. So I'm fairly smitten with that idea. I didn't know people read still. I know my kids don't. Anyway, so now we're beyond neck deep into 2025. And now the pile on begins. So we've got these albums this week, but what happens is we're lucky, we're fortunate to have another panelist besides me. So you get the greater view, a bigger view, a broader view from Deb Armitage Hicks Maloney. She joined us. This is the 6th consecutive time. She's smitten.
It's a lot of pressure.
She's got to have her new music. She's got to have it.
Yep, you give it to me.
So I was really anxious this week for album review Saturdays, episode 6. I just want the albums to be great as they can be, and I hope to find a little something in each of them that's worth the idea of new music. Trying to keep up the pace and energy of the album releases we've seen, and having no break in the action since the conception of the show. This week's 3 albums only feature one band that I have every album of. And the other 2 albums, we're stepping out on a limb. So that's not knowing what to expect. The first band came to me from my old record store days at the CD Exchange. Just me and my buddy Bill at Orchard Park. I would leave work for lunch, a very long lunch, where I would peruse the record store and not buy anything sometimes because I had everything. No, but I'd find something even in the dollar bin. So he was playing this particular band that day, and all of a sudden I had to have everything. The middle album, well, that comes from Ripple Music. That's the highest stoner grooving recommendation. So when Ripple has a new music out and people start making their twit conversation X, whatever, I listen, which normally would be a sound pick, but they're from Kansas. It doesn't mix well with us in Buffalo, New York. Wonder why. Their name is cool. I like their name. We won't tell Susie Q we're reviewing it. And for the final album, I decided that I had passed on this artist long enough. There's other projects he was involved in, and well, anyway, I'll get to that when we review, but it was time. And this was the perfect week with a new album and an interesting connection in sound and personal life that I had no concept of between 2 countries and Vermont. What? I'll save that for the article, but let's go to episode 6 and I'll stop yapping. So let's start with the band I know, the band I have every album of, except this one at this current time. I didn't buy it yet. This is Mogwai, The Bad Fire. No, there was no intention for this to draw any attention to the California fires. So don't take that. This is a masterclass of instrumental rock with glitters of progressive post-rock. It's got amplitude. It's got like a shoegaze in cases. You certainly could feel the fires were building up inside the band. The creation of The Bad Fire has come over a culmination of sadness, close calls, turbulence in their own lives. So this coming right after the release of this As the Love Continues, which is their prior record. So it's kind of funny that I've never thought of Mogwai record as a joyous occasion. They were smitten with it. But tremendous dark mood driven band, generally speaking. So, however, the title here is definitely suggesting the entanglement of that horned fiend that haunts our lives, actions, and thoughts, for sure, right? So the Bad Fire is definitely coming from the devil. I assume the title is a reference to the devil as the baddest of fires of them all. And the band does a fantastic instrumental tap dance at the fiery furnace to truly capture the power of struggle, the will within, and the way that life itself has to proceed, as well as nurture, as well as ultimately to destroy, to rebuild. Wow. Dark. Welcome to an interesting 11th album. Yeah, 11 albums in this. So,
wow.
So unlike, they're a little bit behind Joni Mitchell, but they're getting there. So a unique grip of your ear. That's what they do, right? If it's your first experience, which it probably would be for Deb,
Yeah.
it's got a bit of background of the post-rock progressive instrumental band of the past decades. Plus, you give a nice equivalent to a band that maybe some people know, Explosions in the Sky. So that would be a fair assessment. So, Deb, your first dance with Mogwai.
Well, are they from Scotland?
Yes, Scottish.
Glasgow, right.
Oh, drinking with a Scotsman. Can't
Well,
understand a word.
that's usually some fun in their music when they're from Scotland. They don't like to categorize their music. They say that they're very much their own. They liken their, I guess, some of their influences to bands like Bloody Valentine and Sonic Youth, Kraftwerk maybe, but you know, I'm not usually the word of the day smitten with music that doesn't have a lot of lyrics. So when I read this article about this band to find out a little bit more, Mr. Stuart Braithwaite, that's how you say his last name. Is he the lead singer?
He would be the lead vocal.
Guitar,
He would be the
vocal, right.
lead vocal if they
So
decide,
this is what he
let's
said.
put some vocal in here.
It's
Yeah.
funny because he said he was quoted as, "I think most people are not used to having no lyrics to focus on." So I think he was writing this to me. Lyrics are a real comfort to people. I guess they like to sing along, and when they can't do that with us, they get a little bit upset. So, and it's kind of funny. He was speaking to me because that's usually my first feeling about music, is I want to hear some vocals, but there was a little bit. It was hard to pick up. It was more annoying. I don't think they should have had any kind of vocals in the background in a couple of the songs. Um they've done a lot of soundtracks, and that's what I would liken this to, a soundtrack type of feel. They've collaborated with Trent Reznor on things. The opening song, at least I always listen to on Amazon Music. I never know if this is in the or true order of the album, but God Gets You Back. That was a very cinematic type song. I've pictured myself being in an IMAX kind of, with a lot of stuff going on around me. Um, some of the names of their songs, interesting. Pale Vegan Hip Pain. Well, I have some hip pain myself because I'm getting old. So that was interesting, but the name, it doesn't go with the song. It was very soothing. It was listenable. It I don't know. There's a lot of controversy within themselves, I think, as far as
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what they're saying and what they're doing. Now, the one song, Franzine Made of Flesh, that beginning sounded like Coldplay to me. And periods throughout it had a Coldplay feel, like old Coldplay, not new Coldplay. The one song I hated was Lion Rumpus. Oh, the screeching in that song it was like, I was like, I can't listen to this. It sounded like my cat when it has a stomach ache. So all in all, for what it is, and you gotta love the name of the band.
Mhm.
Gremlins was a great movie, Mogwai.
I was waiting for you. That's why I didn't go there.
Yeah, and which means evil spirit, Mogwai. So interesting. I enjoyed this album. The more I listened to it, once I knew what it was and what I could expect and what I wasn't going to be holding on for, such as lyrics and that, I grew to appreciate it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. But you're getting a lot of color. Even in the album, there's a lot of color on the outskirts. So yeah, this tap dance I mentioned above, at the beginning here is that idea of like, how do you tap dance around that? And they do a wickedly interesting instrumental way of going about it. High chaos. as a rugged element against a troubled melody. Everything is working your emotional side with lifting your ear into a progressive stature. They are a progressive rock band. They can say whatever they want to say.
Yes.
The base meat bones of it is a progressive rock band.
Hmm.
Keyboards never waver, whether it's the pop rock or progressive rock nature, and they can be as in your face as Franzine made of flesh. Work them into to give like even go around with the vocal accompaniment that's there. It's smart mathematical sound calculations through pop keyboards, and that song is freshly atoning. Like Smashing Pumpkins was collaborating with them. A bit of fuzz, it got jangle in it.
Yeah.
So they explore all kinds of moods. The Bad Fire eventually runs full throttle into post-rock cinematic intensity. There's crescendos. There's big crescendos that happen. If you find this world bad, you should see some of the others. Yeah, yeah, okay. That that sounds like Mogwai. That's right. That's and then from there you're going to 18 Volcanoes, the Hammer Room, and the 18 Volcanoes includes a high whistling, which
Yeah.
could be a node to Ennio Morricone, whom the band loves in the soundtrack universe. So, and
Oh.
yes, soundtrack universe, right? Yes,
Yep.
Deb mentioned they do that. If you definitely want to check out them with Clint Mansell, with Kronos Quartet on the Fountain soundtrack. That's obviously the very, very long, epic Aronofsky film. That is, they did Miami. They were two of their songs were on the Miami Vice soundtrack.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool too.
Yeah.
Sense of tone. That's kind of where they are, and of course they've done tons of television too. So getting back on this, I would say the Bad Fire was it reminded I got back to it, right? The sound and fire has left an audio moniker that will stick with you long after the final post rock and distortions of Fact Boy, which is the final burned up. And it seems even like it's burned up and you're feeling the ashes getting blown away. Is it a
Mhm.
one-time listen for you, or are you tempted to, do you reach for more Mogwai? Just don't add water.
Bright light.
You knew that was coming. All right. I can do without that cover.
Oh my God, it's horrid. I can't. I want you to put your
Okay.
head in front of it.
If there was a reason for it, I missed it.
No.
Okay, I really did. All right, it gives me an uncomfortable sense of where we are not going to go musically. Sorry, it seems pointless, but the album does not go to any of this technically. It's not that dark an album. Diminishing Return is a way more expansive. It's wickedly executed and maybe it's completed surgically well, but whoever,
I don't know. I just ow.
I guess they're trying to make their staple known. Oh, fuck this. So the Kansas Collective. Yeah, they're from Kansas. Okay. We'll leave it at that. We got tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace. All right. It's got groove. Man, this album has groove. It doesn't matter whether it's the rock side, it's the alternative side, it's the hard, heavy blues side, it's the sludge side. They never lose the groove. That guitar scalpel is raised, cleansed, and tested from all angles to be sharp and easy. Check mark there. So this plate is set up for their surgery. Not that
Yeah.
surgery. I'll put my head here. They got the drums. Oh my God. The sticks are ready. The pedals precision checked. Good. So that's all double checked. The bass. Oh my God. Sweet Soundgarden alternative doom placement. Excellent. Check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. Oh, God. The vocal. All right. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but I'm pretty sure the vocal is stretched between two individuals. It's not the
Okay.
same person.
Okay.
All right. And going back and putting the band name and players back in, I would say that that's the case. Who's doing what? That they didn't pontificate. I don't blame them. But this is where this gets to oh God, this like shadowy reach or a invisible audio lasso that gets pulled into you. You're wondering, he starts off, he's kind of scratchy or just, I'm like, he's not gonna be able to sing this. And then he can sing it
I
because
know.
he's singing to match, singing to weave. It didn't catch for me the first listen. I was
Hmm.
kind of more into the music than I was the vocal, and I thought, right.
Hmm.
But this has got Zillionaire, and I'm smitten on this ride. I think that they stuck it. Soft sludge rock, all kinds of changes. So I put down in my online version that if Deb joins me, I'm curious and interesting what her take will be on just the album cover and what she thought it was going to be and what actually happens. And I will say at this point, this is first and foremost hard rock alternative groove record that never forgets, but manages to swoon you in all kinds of representations of the areas surrounding their rock and their expression of it. They are playing their asses off, but that doesn't mean to the tempo and craziness and sludge and doom and heaviness
Hmm.
and anxiety ridden that you're expecting. It's ferocious in other ways. It's anxiety ridden in relentlessness sometimes, but sometimes in a slow developing way. They don't go big here. They go steady and groove. Deb, don't look at the cover.
I can't.
Look away.
I'm telling you, it was really hard when I had my big screen TV on when I was cooking last night and I had that album on, and that's all I could see was that. I'm like, I think I lost 5 pounds. So, your comments are very true to what I felt. My first note is vocals with the giant question mark because I couldn't figure out what was going on. Couldn't like I kept going, oh, I feel that, and then I feel that. And wait, is that the same guy? Same thing as what you were saying. Um, a lot of high energy, power driving, but not frenzied at all. And like you said, sometimes more subtle, like that spin up, spin down.
Yes, brilliant
Um,
part of the record.
yep, unsustainable. Nice departure from what, the obligatory title of Astro Garden. Of course, you have to have a name like Astro Garden on an album like this. But not all the music felt like what you would expect out of an album that has a song called Astro Garden on it. They had a lot of raw guitar even that I could hear that wasn't just all this wasn't just all electronically over produced theatrical stuff.
Mhm.
It was something that I really enjoyed. It was only 8 songs, I believe. It was not, I mean, it was
Yeah.
still 45 minutes long, but I mean, so the songs weren't like, a punk rock song of 35 seconds.
Mhm.
Um, but I did get one little hint of somebody that I could liken at least a vocal on one song. Shadow of the Mountain had an Ozzy feel to me. Um, just where I was going, get some Black Sabbath here, just enough. But it was another good album, Mark. I mean, aside what I'm staring at behind your shoulder there, but
Uh,
they,
yeah.
they need to
So
tone that down next time.
yeah, Boogie Johnson takes on the groove hard rock heavy train that you're expecting. It's primal. It's but this playing your asses off suddenly goes to this Stone Temple Pilotsy
Yeah,
songs from the Vatican gift shop in spin up, spin down, right? Up and down.
yeah,
Yeah, up
yeah.
and down.
Spin up,
Right?
spin
That
down.
makes sense, right?
and sisters of the hour. If we lose, let's not lose the lesson.
Spin up,
Spin
spin
down, spin up. Well, who that? Okay, they're defying gravity. This is what defines the overall record for me. This was the moment that I could conceptually think of and go along with the band and go, oh my God, now I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of like, ooh, now what comes next? Even though I'd heard it once before, I had kind of forgotten where it went from there. So yeah, it's that spin up, spin down, ripple music, and spin. The ripples of music, right? They had to sign him. They had no fucking choice. Not to
There's
mention
a law.
the production process. It's really well done. They know their wheelhouse. They don't step off into oblivion and try to do something that just doesn't fit. It was. They didn't need to go into bombastic arenas as far as I'm concerned. So
Right.
that was the song. In the second listen, when I started to take audio notice of the band's abilities, it's so fucking moody and delicious. I don't even know what delicious means, to be honest with you. All right. So you take it any way you want to take it. Lead me, and they led me. This is such a detailed work of hard rock and alternative. And nothing says this more than their reach and incredible additional genre touches in sludge, a little bit of grunge, classic rockish Ozzy kind of thing, Black Sabbath. But Astro Garden has it all in one freaking song. Right? It's got Alice in Chains. Jerry Cantrell was knocking on the door through an astral plane, that he had projected himself into the room somehow. And then there's Soundgarden's sludgy spasms that modified the groove. No one was better at that sludge groove than Soundgarden.
Mm-hmm.
It's honest, it's pure, it's toned to make you feel every inch of sound. And then that bridge comes in and snaps you in half. You're not expecting it, and it's holy shit, this is good stuff. Let the drummer have a moment too, while there's a solo guitar and a computer vocal mod speech riffing thing going on too. Sure, throw that in there. Why not? It works. Diminishing returns? Wait a minute, they just added shit. That's not diminishing. They don't understand surgery, and they don't understand the law of diminishing returns. Okay, they're from Kansas. It's okay.
Oh,
did I go there? No. Okay, so this is far from diminished, but I get it. All right, it's got everything you need. Oh man, okay. Get thy ear on diminishing returns, okay? Because I don't want to or wish to speak any further of how well it ends, okay? Because that's the ride you have to take. Fuck my critique. Live in the clutches of it. Okay, there's a hint. Find the incredible, easy, unsustainable on the road to shadow of a mountain. Just know that there is no turning back. There's no telling what will happen next within their hard groove in 4 remaining songs. Just enjoy. All right. Shadow of a mountain. Man, I want to talk about it. I'm going to shut up. Let Godzillionaire level you. Don't mind me. All right, let's take it down a proverbial 400 notches. Sam Amadon. I need to give the audience a place for this. Okay. Let's take a singer-songwriter from Vermont. That would be like a singer-songwriter from Buffalo. Just don't think there's a whole lot in Vermont, unless you're a ski guy. I don't. Okay, that's terrible.
Maple syrup.
Yeah. Tight family in the folk realm. Both parents were in a band, a folk group, a consortium of sorts, who knows what other, if it was a cult or not, I don't, but they called themselves, was it Bread and Puppets?
It was something weird. I didn't write it down.
Bread and Puppets Theater, and they lived on a Bread and Puppets farm in Vermont. Okay. And they drank this red juice out of, no. So he's not from the old world, but he is. They were part of a folk Americana hymn album that really became kind of the quintessential 70s album. Okay. I never listened to it, and I was thinking about clicking on it, but I got 19 Joni Mitchell albums.
Joni.
So that's the context. He is a folk artist who can play guitar, fiddle, banjo, probably anything that has a string. Okay. I'll get to the person he reminds me of in a bit. But he's married to Beth Orton. This is how he comes into my world. Beth
Okay.
Orton is a interesting artist. She's come a long way from the Central Park Reservation to the recent album last year, or was it year before? She's got an ear. She can produce herself. She's ethereal. She can do electronic. But this is a folk guy. And for a traditional Irish feel too, he's got that going on. So he's got a tremendous link and spiritual connection that even feels slightly of that American heritage world. When I talk about American heritage, I'm thinking Indian, not Irish. Although the Irish is there, but just the way he delivers himself vocally. All right. So there are the tracks and sounds that make this feel like a Central Park Reservation experience. That's what I was hoping for. Friends and Neighbors is where this is at. It's the best depiction of the album I can give you because it has some very intimate and passionate and spiritually worldly instrumental designs, a telling and an emotionally linked idea. However, when the vocal gets in there, some wording, the word choices, and the connective tissue is not as spiritual or deep. It kind of fell very flat to me. I'm not saying it's always the case, as it's not. You'll find the ones for sure, but the ones that don't will stand out like a sore thumb to you, I think. Which is why I don't know why they didn't stand out to the person who's producing the record. Don't worry. I don't fault Beth Orton because when we do the third batch of albums today, there's a monumental wizard who didn't hear it. So on that record. So we'll get into that. Here's what I don't get. There's a song on here. Okay. And I'm not going to say it yet, but it is cataclysmically exactly what this album should have been. Yet it's left. And that's where it ends. But Deb, before I go on further down this road, comparisons and other things, I would rather you speak, get in on this.
Well, you know how we just reviewed Mogwai and most people are not used to having no lyrics to focus on and blah, blah, blah. Well, I would have appreciated it in this album because I couldn't stand his vocals at all.
Okay.
It was like you said, the songs that were bad that's what is sticking in my mind with this album. There wasn't enough of the good stuff for me to put this album into a place where I could say it grew on me, or 3 times through, I finally understood what they were trying to get at. It's not a genre of music that's really anything that speaks to me. What I was interested in, though, after you get through the album on my Amazon Music, it puts me to the Sam Amidon station and it gives me like artists, which is interesting for me on this one. And we actually, I believe I reviewed an album by this band with you, Mount Erie. Did we do? Okay. And I went, yeah. Ed Harcourt, but I like his vocals a lot better. I could feel the music. I could feel what I guess what he was trying to express through his music is like a Ed Harcourt, but then you can't get past the vocals for me. Impressive enough, though. I mean, he played with his family band when he was 3 years old on a fiddle. 3 years old. You can't get a 3-year-old boy to learn to use the toilet, for God's sakes. But this kid fiddled in front of an audience. I mean, crazy. At 13 years old, him and a couple friends started playing professionally, getting paid. And, that shows somebody that's got that bred into them for sure.
Yep.
I liked some of the names of the bands that inspired him. Not that I've heard of them, but Nightingale, yeah, whatever. But Wild Asparagus, the Wild Asparagus. Don't know anything about the Wild Asparagus, but I'm assuming it's Irish fiddlers because that's something that he really likes is the Celtic feel of
Yes,
fiddling.
there is a Celticism.
Yeah.
That's a word.
So the one song that I started to get excited about, I don't think it's going to be the one that you're going to say. It started out one way. It ended up going another. Every time it came on, I had to stop and look at the screen to go, did this switch to another song? I can't. And I'm like, no, this is this crazy song that starts out with this really fun Celtic. And then all of a sudden, I feel like Mickey Rourke is in that nasty alleyway that I always tell you about when I hear that kind of bluesy sax, gritty. The Tavern, the name that song, The Tavern, I think it was called. It started out Celtic and it went to this weird jazz sax. And I
There's
didn't
no question
get it.
this is the song.
It is?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. So I think I pretty much summed up how I feel about this album. So I'll let you go.
Yeah, Tavern is the song.
Yes, Tavern.
Yes.
Yep.
So here's what I think he's trying to make happen. I don't know if Beth Orton is producing some of the record, not all the record. Good luck finding anything. I don't know why people don't put this stuff for people like us who do this. Although if there's only 9 people watching, you've got the idea of old folk, and they want it to be new. They want alternative folk. They want you to understand the past. They want to bridge, right? You're not Rihanna Giddens.
Yeah.
Rihanna Giddens is a person doing that. She's very good at it. Now, Tavern is this emergence. The tavern is a sacred place in these cultures, right?
Yes. Yeah.
In the US, we don't find that. Okay. Fuck, we'll put a tavern right in our own house. Just so we don't have to meet with other people. And that's the thing. These are neighbors and neighbors, right?
Yeah.
I get it. But you're not delivering because the vocal is not okay. So golden, oh my God, I almost said golden retriever. Golden trees, no, that's not it. The golden willow tree is the song, right? Tree. Another epic on the record. And it musically, it's fine.
Yes.
And of course, it isn't his. It's folk. It's old folk. A lot of the songs on here are from the past, like the deep past. And he's trying to make them whole again in our world. Golden Willow Tree could have been the Soul Cages on this record. Okay, musically. This man has played with some fantastic individuals. Bill Frisell. You can't get any better guitar-wise than Bill Frisell. Nels Cline. Holy shit, Nels Cline. These people don't hang out with morons. Right? So the man can play. I'm thinking the vocal thing and the right songwriting is not a connective tissue. I didn't go back to anything old or new, but again, this could have been a Soul Cages type of thing, and because it's a maritime piece. And folk normally doesn't go with maritime, which is, I don't put it there, but I know that it does because of where it came from. Yeah, I get it. All right. So, and how I know that the vocal doesn't matter. Okay. All right. If you're wondering why I even selected this and carried through with this review, I have no idea why I did. I understand the bipolar aspect of traditional folk and the alternative folk. or modernization approaches. This is not that kind of accomplishment. It's just not. If you're trying to get into the Rihanna Giddens frame, study that a little bit more. Play with the music, because the music worked. The vocal didn't. This is what this album was going for, considering the amount of traditional folk renderings that are in there. And that I'm understanding of slightly. But here, let me tell you a joke. 2 polar bears are chomping on a seal in the Arctic. The scene is gruesome in its nature, but it's nature. And the cinematography around it, woo, beautiful. It's eye-catching. The one polar bear turns to the other polar bear and says, "Could you pass the ketchup?" The other polar bear looks up, obviously eating. "What do you think I am, a radio? Are you turned on?" "I don't know. Go ask the elephant." Maybe the elephant can recontextualize this listening mess that this was. And Ask the Elephant is the disaster on this record. I don't know what the hell was going on there. I don't know what producer said. What did he just say? Why are you so fast? Because I was on the roller skate thing. Things don't make sense. Sorry. Anyway, that's our 3 on the site. But now let's try to give you a dark cleansing. So this guy coming up should have probably had this as his title on this record.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more coming from Jeff Young spoke of Dax Riggs on one of our shows prior. I believe it's You Should Listen To. So 7 Songs for Spiders is one of our 3 extras. There are 2 extras. Deb, the third one, I left her off of that because I want to put a call out, but we'll use that at the end. I know I'm all over the place today. It's that internet skipping that's fucked with my brain. There's deep fuzz. It's stoner rock toning here that's definitely going to fall into the audio love lap of these hard blues rock listeners for sure. But really, what's even better here on top, there's a little cherry on top, and this is singing, vocal pitch, delivery. I mean, we've heard all this before, but this earth-shaking, swamp, raw amp tenacity on this record is beguiling. I use that word a lot, but I'm telling you, this is, your Southern Gothic swamp principles that kind of move the ground beneath you sometimes, because the structure of the album does change. You're not standing on the same platform. It's not being delivered the same way, and you're kind of thrown off a bit. Or sort of like there's something under the boat. Giving you a rock into it a bit. So there's what is it? Sunshine felt the darkness smile. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Again,
Yep.
I'll make a reference to Soundgarden. That's a track that comes dripped in sludge and quicksand like pace. You want it to get faster, but that's not going to happen. It's going to stay right where it needs to be, and it's going to lead me to the devil himself, who's actually an accountant. Okay, never mind. Deb, Dax Riggs to you, 7 Songs for Spiders.
Well, if I hadn't heard Jeff's review, I was part of that show. I
That's
wouldn't
right,
have
yep.
really known what to expect, but who can't get excited over an album called 7 Songs for Spiders? I mean, my God, that's intriguing. Yeah, they're that apocalyptic type of folk rock type thing. I mean, it's the kind of music that I love. It is like an Alice in Chains. You mentioned Soundgarden, Days of Jupiter, really cool stuff. Great vocals, unlike the last album. But again, there's some Ozzy feel in some of the way he presents his lyrics. Was more surprised though at some of these songs. Like you had mentioned, the Sunshine felt like darkness smile, very soothing. It's
Yeah, but
almost
you're being petted by the devil.
yeah, yes,
And
because
he's
then I'm
got a
hearing
glass
the
of
words
scotch in his hand.
Lucifer, and then even the pagan moon, that
Yeah, yeah.
song.
I'll be your hanging man. You'll be my queen of swords. That pagan moon shining on the church house door.
Yikes, Graveyard Soul, like all this stuff that just doesn't, if you're not paying attention, you could be possessed by the devil by the end of this album. And that's what they did for me. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Really great.
Okay, so by the time I had gone through a third listen, I was finally in tune with what was driving me so heavily into this. All right, I was like, okay, I got the Soundgarden, and I got everything that you said, but there was
Yeah.
something in the back
Okay.
just going, Mark Lanigan,
Oh,
Screaming Trees, that
yeah.
delivery, that graveyard ears, like, like he's half stepped in it already. Little Lane Staley, Alice in Chains, yes. But this was, and what did it for me wasn't listening to the album. All right, it was the song that came after, because the album stopped in my listening thing and went to
Yeah.
another album. Sometimes it doesn't because of how I listen to it, but this time I had clicked apparently, and not because I tell it to stop because I don't want to be confused, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So the song starts, and I get morphine, murder for the money. And the algorithm is following me around. This is like the algorithm is gonna get you. The algorithm is gonna get you. Thanks, Gloria Estefan, bitch. All right. So yeah, it's Mark Lanigan,
Yeah.
that realm, and Roadhouse. I really, Wheelhouse, not Roadhouse. I'm really thinking that this guy apparently, and I don't know if Jeff said this, but that band he's in, Acid Bath, they're
Yeah.
going to release an album this year, apparently.
Oh, I don't know if he had said that. I mean, he referenced Acid Bath a few times, but I don't know if he had mentioned that they were going to have an album. That's exciting.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of records from 2025 just going through. So yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All right. We've got Eric Clapton. Meanwhile,
For all of this.
after all of that, what? Eric Clapton? How dare he? Right? Okay, so I'm listening to the what's the first song?
Pompous Fool.
Yes, fantastic track. I am like over the moon. It kind of has me in that Pretending album, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be that late 80s, early 90s Eric Clapton. That okay, some mid-range Clapton, but then something crept in that I felt like, what's happening? What's going on? First of all, I actually liked the guitar slow hand version of Moon River. I hate Moon River. It is the quintessentially overplayed, not important album of all time.
On my notes,
yeah,
Moon
all right,
River.
Moon
What
River.
does Mark think?
But I liked it because is Beck on it with him? Is that the one Beck is on with him?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I didn't notice that he was listed.
I can't recall. I know Jeff Beck is on the record. And I
Okay.
can't say that's it. But then, what the hell is going on with Always on My Mind? Maybe I should have made somebody should have checked the harmonies because they're off. They're off something awful. It's like the two people should not have been. I can't think of the guy's name, Barkley or something. No, not Saquon Barkley. Whoever this artist is who's singing with Clapton. Clapton, he's on tone, and but the other person is he's drunk on another level, and it's bad. It's freaking awful. Hey, sounds great. It's Eric Clapton. I'm pretty sure if it was at press at whatever record company it is, if he called up and said, "You got to stop it," they would stop it.
I know, really. Yeah, I think
they're not going to
so.
stop it for Godzillionaire. Okay, Ripple Music can't afford it. Oh no, I don't know. I'm kidding, guys. Don't get upset. All right. Deb, on to Clapton's Meanwhile. Meanwhile, did you check out that song?
Meanwhile, well, it's kind of funny because I loved the whole album except for that song. It's right on my notes with Moon River, Mark's thoughts, LOL, because I love Moon River, but then a big question mark always on my mind. I mean, I don't know what was going on there, but back to the beginning, that Pompous Feel song, that was
Oh,
signature Clapton
yes.
guitar. Unmistakable, unmistakable. As soon as he laid down 2 notes, I could name that artist in 2 notes.
John Mayer. No, sorry.
Yeah, there were really no surprises here for me as a Clapton fan outside of the always on my mind. It's good that some things always stay the same in a world that's so crazy. That's all I can say about this. I didn't want to be like shocked, or I don't need Eric Clapton to find a new voice. He needs to stick with exactly what he knows how to do because he does it immaculately. Heart of a Child and Comfortable Smile, The Call, those were reminiscent of just his, Tears in Heaven type feel. The song One Woman had a Who Shot the Sheriff feel. That just at the very beginning. And the song You've Changed. Now that's the blues that I love,
That's
the
Chuck
way
Berry.
Clapton takes blues and presents it in a Clapton way.
Right.
And, where you go, yeah, the blues is the blues, but everybody who is an artist that loves the blues makes it theirs, gives it a little bit of a signature feel, and that's what that song did for me. So, yeah, Eric, if you're gonna do something with this album and remix it or do it, just listen to us, okay?
Yeah, strip
We
that one
got
from
you.
the record. Although I will say it's shit all over the instrumentation, because on that I think there's flute and other things going on, and it's shit on because the vocal harmonies are god awful.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't believe I'm
Agreed.
even saying that, and I'm saying Eric Clapton in the same sense.
Yeah.
It's, he's not a great vocalist. He doesn't have to be, but he's
that day he had COVID. He couldn't get to the phone.
No, first of all, I would say that him and Morrison together, they should do a whole album together.
Stand and deliver. You've let them put the fear on you. Stand and deliver. But not a word you heard was true. And if there's nothing you can say, there may be nothing you can do.
I think so too. I was pleasantly pleased with that. I'm like, why does he have other people? He doesn't need other people. And I'm like,
I mean, Ron Wood, I think, is on the track too that has Always on My Mind. He's playing guitar with him. But there was a little bit of fire in that with Morrison. That Clapton's voice got into that agitated state.
Yeah, a little more aggressive,
slow,
a little more aggressive.
Yeah, a little bit more aggressive. So next up, he's covering Rage Against the Machine. No, I don't.
No, that would be something.
All right. So the final album, I'm going to take my glasses off because I have no notes on this because it's pointless. All right.
Here we go.
All right. So
Hang on.
miscommunication, however this happens, I send these lists out ahead of time, and I was listening to a record and it had a teddy bear on the cover, and the album title, the artist is called Who TF is Just in Time. So who the fuck is Just in Time? And the album's name is Fed Ted. And when I listened to it, I kind of went, okay, so do I put this on the show because it's rock catchy bullshit, the kind of stuff that offends people that are supposed music aficionados that think Nickelback is trash, and still love Kiss. This is both in that requiem of really, really programmed familiarity to it's got what is it? Dennis Miller will say it best. It's got that basic beat that even amoeba can keep time to. All right. So yeah. More peanuts, Mr. Bond. So it's in that wheelhouse, and it's country-ish.
Okay.
Okay. I hold no ill will. So just in time, I believe, and I'm confused. I'm social media illiterate now. I used to be in tune, but I'm not. I don't know if it's a TikTok thing where it started. I don't know if it's an Instagram, but I think he's a personality, an influencer. I don't know what he's influencing.
Oh my God. I hope somebody tells us. Somebody's got to tell
So
us.
Justin, if that's the name.
Okay.
I don't really know. Just in time. Sir Time, could you, if you'd like to contact me, I would love an explanation of this honest and true. There was not a YouTube clip, but a clip on Facebook that I didn't get a chance. I think it's over an hour plus. He's yapping about this particular thing. All right.
Okay.
He made this album, middle fingers in the air, waving them around like you just don't care. They wanted to see what they could do to make a teddy bear make #1 on the country chart.
Fed Ted on his ranch, all alone and paranoid. Aliens and ghosts, he says, make his life so void. Friends sign NDAs, secrets locked up tight.
Is Upchurch a country artist? Is there an Upchurch?
I don't know. I can look it up for you.
Please
Is it
do.
one word?
Yeah.
Upchurch is an American rapper.
Oh, okay, American rapper. I don't know. Is he an American rapper? Canadian? Holy shit! Country
No.
rapper?
It says, well, he is from a place near Nashville, so I would assume maybe he is. He's a white guy. Singer, songwriter, and comedian.
Okay. Upchurch. Now watch. It'll be the same guy.
He's on Holler Boy Records.
Upchurch.
I don't know if that helps you. He's 5'9".
Well, that's him. He's just in time.
He is. Is he?
Yes.
Because there is a Facebook page called "Who the F is Just in Time," and
Okay.
he's a
All
country
right.
guy.
So as we're recording this show, we're discovering things. So Upchurch is just in time.
Okay, look at that.
I might be, so he's a rapper, comedian. All right. Now
Yeah.
I didn't find anything funny. Honestly, but then again, I was listening for, I'm a music obsessive, and you put the shit in front of me. Now, obviously, because of algorithms and stuff, they put the shit in front of me. Stay in your lane. I don't need this shit in my lane. Did this actually be put together by AI is my assumption, because it sounds it that way to me. Now, if Upchurch has a career in music, which I'm going to have to go backwards in, this is kind of interesting to me. All right. So I'll tell you why now. All right. If you hung in there with me, because most people won't. I'm watching Rick Beato last night, his second interview with the great producer Daniel Lanois.
Mm-hmm.
And when Daniel Lanois talks, I listen. Daniel Lanois has been part of some of the greatest albums of all time. So they're talking about production. Now, I don't know how to produce anything. Hell, I have a hard time producing these shows. But he's talking about acoustic recording. And I never really thought of this. You can't record an acoustic vocal recording without getting the vocal on the guitar. It's impossible.
Oh.
So they start talking about it. And being the clever man that Daniel Lanois is, and he's older, but he really knows how to use a computer. And he used AI to take the vocals off an acoustic recording. So AI has its place, and he didn't do it. One of the people he knows did it, and he was just amazed that could happen.
Wow.
And he's tried microphone modifications to do that, and all kinds of tricks and trades. And he's recorded probably several of the greatest acoustic individuals of all time. Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Neil Young. I mean, that's as great as it gets, probably, right?
Yep.
I don't know if he did Joni Mitchell or not. He probably did. No, it was Emmylou Harris.
Okay.
So I'm this AI thing has its place in production, and how to, man, we need to fix that a bit. He even talked about how he physically went into an album and put in and waited to put things in like placement, because that's how it had to be done, because he wanted it in there, but he had no way of re-recording it. So he went through and pasted it in,
Wow.
and it's amazing. And those records are amazing. So Mr. Upchurch, who the fuck is Just in Time, or Fed Ted, this teddy bear. If you'd like to come on the show, I don't have these followers, and I'm not that important in any way, shape, or form. But the idea here is educate me on this, because it's sort of like a joke apparently, but I don't want to be in on the joke. I want to be able to put this in its categorical place. This is a comedy record because it was number one on the country charts. Did it become number one because you went out there and said click, 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 click? All right, that's not truly, but I'm also, what I am worried about is that the algorithm is going to get you. All right. Gloria Estefan's back again, damn it. What I'm saying here is if the American public picked this and went on and made this that way, ooh, where are the ears? Where are you, people? Come to my program, come to the show. I'll get you away from that mundanity, that commonplace, that comfort. I don't know. Stop smoking the weed. All right, that's legal now, because it's dulling your brain of sound. And I would hate for you to be tricked or wooed into a false sense of security and be in a conversation where you're going, that guy's the greatest artist of all time. Okay, right? I would rather you were with Dax Riggs in hell.
I love
with
it.
a good record, or at the surgical helm of Godzillionaire.
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna send my tickets back. I just had clicked buy for us to go to the redneck rave that he's throwing.
I saw that. I go back. I'm running out of research time here. I can't believe this is the 6th record. So I'm like, I'm battling it. I have to battle it.
Okay.
There's 19 Joni Mitchell albums. Okay. Enough with Joni Mitchell.
Joni.
Catch that show this week. It's coming. It'll be interesting. So I want to thank Deb for doing this. We went a little long, probably because of who the fuck is Just in Time. Again, reach out to me. I don't care one way or the other. I just want to educate myself and the 200 and plus listeners, watchers of our show. I want to give them more. So we're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. We got articles, videos, a podcast. Yeah, I really got to get on that podcast thing. But time is of the essence. Albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on, even AI stuff from Upchurch. Thanks for, go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching and happy listening.
Bye.